Oh, we're back. We're back.
Yeah, baby.
Boys.
We're so loose tonight.
I'm feeling really loose.
What's going to happen? The B-boys are back.
Yeah, look. Draft Boys in the house.
We're giddy.
Welcome back to the Draft Boys, the FPL Draft Podcast.
What,
As
6
always,
months
joined by Miley G, Hito, and myself, Whitey. Lads, how are we doing?
Are we doing good?
Oh my God, it's been too long.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know. Really, actually has been too long. And I think we need to start the podcast with a formal apology.
Yeah, definitely to all the listeners, all the fans out there.
We fell off the radar last year. There's a lot going on. Life caught up with us, and we had to take a little hiatus.
couple of court appearances.
Yeah.
A quick jail time.
Yeah, Miles's jail sentence
3 to
was
6.
something no one was happy about.
And then I
but
weirdly
he
got
needed
jury
it.
duty at the same time.
Was it you?
I ended up having you. You know when they say, do you know any of these people? I'm like, no, I don't know anyone.
Yeah, well, not really.
Yeah.
Like, how do you really know someone?
My boy needs someone on the inside.
Maybe
you
that's
know?
why I got such a lenient sentence.
That's how you got off, mate.
Yeah.
But
thank
we needed you back for the next season. We needed you back for the next season. Speaking of which, let's move on straight on into it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be the first of our pre-season eps.
Yeah.
We're going to do 2 of them.
Going to get as many as we can, yeah.
Exactly. So we thought we're trying to go a bit earlier this year to give everyone a bit more time to, figure out what they're going to do with their drafts. So slightly changing up how we've done it in the past. We're going to talk about basically each team in alphabetical order. We're going to go through the top 10 teams today, and then we'll talk about the next 10 teams next week. Mm-hmm. And then, within that, we're going to talk about transfers and rumours, forwards, mids, defenders, goalkeepers for each of those teams. And
Bit of draft strategy
what we're
along the
liking.
way.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, we're like a tap that's just got a broken faucet. Like,
Open
it just
it
keeps
up.
coming out.
Yeah.
And that's our draft knowledge. Just dripping all over the
Overflowing.
shower floor, you know?
It's 11 years, boys, this year.
11 years we've been drafting.
Yeah, so
Wow.
we were back on the spreadsheets, as the old school
Wow.
listeners know.
Yeah.
Lots of arguments, but we're on the platform now that everyone uses.
Yeah, no, it's good. The platform's great. I mean, look, actually, you've really just triggered me. Then I was ranting about something before the podcast,
Talk to me.
and I said, wait, I'm not going to rant now. I'll save it for the pod. What the fuck? There should be a new segment. What the fuck?
Whitey, what the fuck?
Talk to me.
Whitey, what the fucks? So when you go onto fantasy draft, not the fantasy, budget version, fantasy draft version, whenever you hit that little fucking eye on the thing, it doesn't give you the history of all the players.
No.
It's the most fucked up part of the whole
the
website.
previous
So
thing.
you have to go into the budget version, which I never like
Fucking
doing.
tainted.
Never like doing that. And then you've got to go and hit the I, and then there's all the information. But the draft guys get left out. What the fuck?
I didn't notice that because I play a bit of budget so far in pre-season. I only look at budget and then obviously.
Dude, I've been in the draft one looking at that. I kind of switched between both.
I just clicked on it then. It's so annoying.
It's fucking infuriating.
It is.
Wow.
It is.
Okay.
So,
Well, let's move on.
to our big boss FPL people out there who listen to our podcast, obviously,
I'll send a couple of emails. Don't worry.
I think
we'll get it sorted.
they'll hear this and they'll understand that we need information just as much as the budget fucks.
Let's just click this up. We don't even need an email. We can just take this snippet of the recording.
yeah, exactly.
Love it.
Send it to them.
Just send
Tweet
it off.
that.
Send
You
it off.
heard us.
Someone read it.
We've
for
been
us.
heard.
Okay, so boys, just before we get into the thick of this, how you been? What's been happening?
Hito, how you been?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm married.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know. Did we even do this? Like,
We
I
had
don't
a-
even know.
That was a fire night, by the way.
Yeah, it was great
That was
fun.
good.
Yeah, Hito did get married. Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
that's
so
good.
drunk that night.
Yeah, Miles went to prison after that, actually.
that was the
funnily
night.
enough.
Yeah,
That was the night.
Ruined.
We can't talk
my
about what he did.
honeymoon because I had to do jury duty.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
were called up the day of. It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, nothing new on my front. No new babies. Just
No,
just
just
the
the
one
one
at this point.
Still alive.
Yeah, she's still alive.
That's good.
One baby mama.
Yep. Nope, she's upstairs. So, she's still alive.
That's good. And yeah, I don't know. I've been doing nothing. I've been renovating. That's it.
Oh,
I'm
That's
almost
so
back in
boring.
my
Normally you
career.
have some wacky golf story,
Yeah, I didn't want to
Usually
get
a bit off
I
topic.
didn't want to
It's been
get
fucking
too
non-stop
into it.
rain. I
Yeah.
can't even golf anymore.
That's
Don't
it.
even start me on the
That's
rain,
it.
man.
Golf now.
But I'm back on the punt,
Aqua
so we'll
golf.
see what happens. Yeah.
All right. Well, I've heard enough about you two, and I've got a hankering for some food.
Oh. Is
Should
that
I think it's time for snack chat.
We want the snack chat.
Yeah, Hito.
I'll have that ready next time.
Hito's our snack chatter this week.
Shout out Banter Boys.
Just a reminder, because we've been away so long as to what snack chat is. Snack chat, one of us brings a snack in each week and a drink, and we rate and berate. The other two rate and berate. Hito doesn't get to rate his own shit.
No, I don't.
So what do we have today, Hito?
Lift up
So
that
you asked me
tea towel.
earlier, and you said, is it sweet or savoury?
Oh,
and I said
did ask.
sweet, but it's also a bit savoury.
Oh,
salty.
We got baklava.
Oh, baklava.
Wow.
Hectic. I love baklava.
The Greek treat,
Greek
isn't it?
treat.
But to me,
Yeah.
it's not that savory. It's pretty much sweet.
But it's like made with pastry, so I don't know.
No, but it's sweet.
I think pastry's sweet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sweet
I don't know.
as.
Hito, I think you're confused.
It's sweet like you.
Yeah, it's true.
great snack. Open them. Open them.
And on the other hand, we're in pre-season
Yeah.
and we're preparing ourselves for the year ahead. We can't go too hard. So I thought you two needed to be just kept in line. Coach Hito's here.
That can't happen.
He's preparing you for the season ahead. We've got some beers.
Oh, wow.
What?
Zero alc beers.
Wow.
I need to warm you into the season, boys. It's pre-season.
Are you serious?
It's pre-season.
Oh, my God. Get the tequila back out.
I've never been so upset in my life.
Wow.
0.5%
Yes.
of even what?
Does that mean it's something or nothing?
I don't know.
Do I have to drink
can
it?
have as many
Can
as
I'm going to rate this very, very harshly.
You got to try it first.
I've actually never had a 0 free alcohol,
Look.
so I'm going to try it.
You gotta be eased in. I know you two. We have one crazy night, and the whole season escalates.
You know what, Ro? I love you, but I kind of hate you right now.
I fucking hate you. I've never been so mad at you.
This is so bad, but it's good that we're close to your alcohol cabinet.
Why would you drink beer if it
love-
didn't have alcohol in it? That's my question.
It tastes like a watered down beer.
Yeah, it tastes like a super dry without any of the fun.
Dude, worse than a super dry. Super dry is good. I'll drink super dry.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
favourite.
mate. You know what I'm thinking?
It tastes like beer.
I'm thinking the rating is in the name. 0.
Well, I was going
I'm giving it a 0.
I was going to go minus.
Oh, no, you got to give it 0.
No, I can't.
You got to give it minus 100, so every score Hito gets for the rest of this season is scarred by this.
Minus 0.5. Just, oh my God.
Jesus.
I like it.
What have you done?
I'll be right back.
So he's just walked over to his fridge and he's getting some Coronas. It's the biggest insult that Snack Chat has ever received. Where,
I love the outrage. I love it. It's so good.
wow.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Do you know what this is a taste for? It's me fucking with you boys all season in fantasy.
You're going to do it?
Yeah, you boys are getting fucked this year.
Well, I think it's a good opportunity. I just need to...
He just threw it on the road. Oh my God. I did throw it on the road. Threw it outside. Kelly's
Same
going to
shit.
come home and see that and be like, oh, and read it and go, oh yeah, 0.
Fair call.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, that's fair.
That's fair.
All right. Well, that happened. No idea how it happened, but it did happen.
Baklava 8.3.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'll give you...
take that.
Actually, this is one of the better baklavas that I've had. So
Yeah, that's
I'll
pretty
give
good.
you an 8.1.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
They
Because
look
I'm not
good.
usually
They
a
look
massive
good.
baklava person. But
All right. Snack chat
get
could have been
into it.
fun, but we got to move on.
it was kind of fun, though.
It was fun. I did enjoy throwing that out. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Beginning of the alphabet, Arsenal.
The look on your guy's face was so priceless.
Oh, that's so Devo. Oh, my God.
It'll make for a good photo later when we do our little Insta post.
Yeah.
All right. Beginning of the alphabet starts with A, as we all know.
Yeah.
And Arsenal is our first team off the rank here that we're going to chat about. Mm-hmm. Why don't we talk a little bit about what they've done in the transfer market? They've made a couple of moves, and I have to say I kind of like them. Like, it seems right for them.
A couple of really big moves, I think. You know, with getting Jesus and Zinchenko from City, I think it's a little bit of a theft from them.
I think they've had a really good transfer window.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's like classic kind of Arsenal spending. Like, you know, you say they haven't spent crazy money, have they? Like,
No, it's cool.
within the current market, I mean.
No.
You know, like Jesus, I think was 45 million. I don't know what the numbers were on Zinchenko. Does anyone have that?
I think I
it's
heard
pretty cheap.
30 or something.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
I mean, that's pretty good to kind of firm up some positions that weren't so good for them. And Jesus, look, he could be anything really. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Him and that team.
I think that when he gets the minutes, like we've seen at City, he usually is on the score sheet more often than not. We saw it last year when he started on the right wing instead of in front of Mahrez and Sterling. He was amazing. And, you know, I think it was just because he was on the pitch as well. Also in a team that scores goals.
Yeah.
But
I think that's the big argument. Hey, it's like minutes versus chances that he's going to have compared to what he would have had, you know, at City. Obviously, so many chances per game, but a lot less minutes.
I'm a bit sorry for Nikita.
Nketiah? I don't know how to say his name.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know.
I just came up with
Yeah.
that.
Said it 3 different ways just in case.
You did. Yeah, and I don't think any of them were right, but I love that.
Because he's also someone with, given the minutes, he's proven, I feel. Like whenever he's been, you know,
Yeah.
given the chance.
He was, yeah.
I do agree. And look, he's actually had a decent start to preseason, and I've heard even some rumours that they may even play 2 up front
Maybe.
with him. But that's rumours. I mean, does anyone know exactly how they've lined up in preseason?
It's been a bit flexible, as you could imagine.
Yeah, the kind of feel is it's going to be quite similar, like 3 in the midfield. And there's actually a chance that Zinchenko will take one of those spots
Of the
midfield.
of the midfield, right?
Because
he is versatile,
Because
yeah.
he plays in the midfield for Ukraine.
Interesting.
Does he?
So there's
Yeah.
there's conversations about him if Tini's fit, him
Out of
sitting-
position.
him becoming in midfield.
Yeah.
But he's also got that coverage.
So I've just had a look here, and I've got like Arsenal's preseason minutes here, and the player with the most minutes is Eddie Nketiah.
Wow.
And I think I'm just looking at this now, but he might even be there. He's their top goal scorer as well. 4 goals, 4 assists, and Jesus at 4 goals, 1 assist.
So they could just play him,
So he's definitely in form in preseason.
and healthy competition makes people play better.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, Arsenal just fucking spanked Chelsea the other night.
They did, yeah.
I didn't really want to talk about it, but
We can mention it.
we can mention it.
Yeah, Jesus
There,
with his
it's
first
mentioned.
goal.
There, it's mentioned.
But yeah, they've also got some other new signings too. Midfield Fabio Vieira.
Yeah.
They bought from Porto. I'm pretty sure it was.
6 goals last season.
Yeah, 14
Yeah.
assists.
Mm.
And there's a
Was
lot
it
of
that many?
there's a lot of signings from the Portuguese league. It seems like there's been a tick over for the scouts figuring that Portugal players seem to transition really well.
To the Premier League,
Yeah.
like the Wolves.
Yeah, so you've had like, you know, Jota and a bunch of other players
That is
coming from
interesting.
Wolves. Liverpool signed from Portuguese league. There's a lot of kind of translation there. I think in the past it was like the Dutch leagues were translated really well, but now from the difference in the Portuguese league, it seems to be converting quite well. Players being able to step up. So
Yeah, right.
I think that's a definitely interesting one to watch. Like 14 assists, 6 goals. Like that's solid numbers there.
Definitely. So I want to actually bring up now, we're talking about Arsenal, well, we are talking about a team, is Saka. Just for, drafters out there, how high were you guys putting him on your draft list?
Yeah, he's definitely an interesting player this year because
179 points last year.
yeah, that's a good haul.
Very consistent. And I think he's on pens as well.
Yeah, look, and I think the kind of Arteta project seems to be kind of having momentum going in the right way. And
Definitely.
yeah, they didn't end the season that well last year, but he's definitely I think he's kind of like embedded now in the club, and he's definitely been given, a chance to build something.
Yeah.
And he's only kind of adding to that with players like Jesus that he's managed, coached with before. And Zinchenko as well. He's brought them across with the idea that they're going to work in his team. I just think I don't think that team could be definitely like maybe top 5.
They really could. And, the first 10 fixtures they've got, Arsenal, are the most favourable of the league. They've got like basically all yellow besides United, which United's probably a yellow as well.
Yeah,
Let's
they
not
really
kid
are.
around.
So to circle back and just to talk about Saka, I mean, he's going to get probably the most minutes out of a lot of the players in
I
that
think
team.
he's one of the first on the team.
I think he's nailed on.
Yeah. So I think he's
And with the Pens,
pretty round 2, round 3 latest.
what would you give him for like a score projection? Like how would you project his kind of,
I think
tally at the
it
end of
could
the
be,
year?
even though last year I feel like it was probably his breakout year, I think this year will probably top it. I think Arsenal are going to score a lot of goals this year.
I think he might. I don't know about you. What do you think?
179 is
Heath?
pretty high. Like,
That
he'll
is
crack
high.
200.
I think he might get close.
He'll crack 200.
Well, I think he'll get close. I think he'll back that up again,
Yeah.
personally.
Is there any chance of Jesus getting pushed out wide like he was at City?
Possibly.
And is that going to affect Saka then?
I think if anything, it
Only
would
in a-
affect Martinelli on the left. Or
That's a really
Smith Rowe.
good
Yeah, that's probably a
transition.
good
Let's talk
segue,
about
yeah.
Martinelli, guys.
I feel like Saka's more. I feel less confident about
Martinelli.
Martinelli and Smith Rowe.
No, I agree with that for sure. And I guess, what formation are you thinking that they're going to line up in? Like, have you guys heard anything about, how they're going to look?
Look, I was looking at it and I'm thinking that they're going to basically be like 4-3-3.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
that's what I've heard as well.
Yeah.
4-3-3. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Like
Yeah.
basically.
And it makes sense. I mean, in that system, 4-3-3, so you probably have like, Odegaard somewhere in there, in that deeper lying midfield.
And Xhaka and
Xhaka and maybe
Pardev?
Smith Rowe?
probably Pardev.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it could be like I feel like Xhaka might lose some spots. I think it'll be like Odegaard, Partey, and then either the new guy Vieira or Zinchenko slotting in as the second mid.
True.
So does Smith Rowe just fall out of the team? Like it's because to me, he kind of suits playing like a deeper lying left mid or right mid.
He does,
as
but
well.
he just was so off and on. Like him and Martinelli were constantly flip flopping all last season on that left. So I feel like they're the most vulnerable, and the likes of Odegaard and Zinchenko coming in if they're the midfield too.
That's if Zinchenko comes in.
Yeah,
I do believe that Tierney should play. I highly rate Tierney. But, if you've got to choose, Zinchenko.
I just don't think Zinchenko would go there if he's not guaranteed minutes.
No.
Why would he leave to be a backup left back and then sometimes midfielder? I think there's got to be a conversation that he's going to play.
That's such a good... Like, imagine it, because that could be a defender that plays in the mid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Could be like
would
a Dallas.
more like
Yeah.
attacking because
Yeah.
Partey will sit and hold a bit.
What were his
play on that left
kind of
three.
goal scoring? What was his goal scoring and assist reputation at City when?
More of an assister than a goal scorer. I remember I picked him up a few times when, I was trying to double up on like the Cancelo, Zinchenko.
It's more for clean sheets. You'd get him and he'd sometimes be involved. Like
but
last year,
assists,
he had 7
surprisingly.
games, 1 goal, 2 assists last year.
Yeah, okay.
So not
couple
a lot
assists.
of... Oh, no, sorry, that's Ukraine. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah.
4 assists last year
4, yeah.
out
and,
of 15 games.
and he didn't play that much.
That's
yeah.
not bad.
That's pretty good for a
It's
defender.
like 1 in 3 nearly.
So if he plays, say, 30 games,
yeah.
we could be getting a bit of a return from him.
And he's got a good cross and like he's obviously going to be really good. So
All right. So, besides that, you got Tomiyasu, Ben White, and Gabriel in defence, and Ramsdale. I think to get one of them, Arsenal defender this year,
Yeah.
I think is probably
they're not your top tier, but as like a second tier
pretty
defender
decent.
choice.
I think they're going to be quite decent. I had a good stat on their defense last year.
Yeah, if they
I'm
can
trying
keep
to
the
find it
goals
for you
out
right now,
at
actually.
the start, because I think
Yeah.
that they're a very momentum-y team.
They were good until they got all those injuries. Remember when Tomiyasu dropped out, Tierney?
But they had a mad run. Like they were
had
one
a really solid.
and I think even in the end, they were still one of the best defensive teams in the league.
Yeah. They still had good numbers behind them. So I think over a season, you'd be happy with them. I wouldn't be going like out of the gates for them, like definitely a bit later in your draft. But they're like up there once some of the big names go. To just get one of them might be solid.
Yeah.
That's it.
Outside of the top, 2-3 teams.
Okay, let's move on. I think we've covered Arsenal pretty well there. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let's move on.
There's no one else we're really vibing there. I see the next team is called Bournemouth in our spreadsheet here. Hito, did you have a little bit of a stroke as you were typing that one?
Maybe.
All
You
right.
forgot, but you had another stroke. You forgot Villa, mate.
Let's talk
Oh,
about,
I did.
let's talk about Aston Villa
Sorry.
before we speak to Bournemouth.
Damn it. I was so ready to talk about Bournemouth. I saw it before and I was like, I'll just slam him during the pod. All right, let's talk Villa.
Yeah. So they've finalised the Coutinho deal. They've brought in Kamara, Carlos, and Olsen from Roma. And Target's gone out. Trezeguet's left. And can't say this word, but our Hinane. That's how I'm saying it. He's gone as well, so I never have to say his name again.
Thank God. Well, you had a crack, and that's what I respect that. I respect that.
I think Coutinho's the only interesting one there. I'm not excited because Kamara is a defensive mid. Diego Carlos has not got great stats from Sevilla. I think he had 1 goal last year or something like that. Olsen's a keeper. I think the others are youngsters. So I don't think there's not any new names that are coming into the piece here. It's some of the existing names. So it's probably going to Coutinho, your Watkins, Matty Cash in defence.
And Diggers.
And Diggers on left.
Ding, yeah.
I don't know.
I think what we need to talk about when we're talking about Villa right now is how do we think they're going to go? Because I think that's what people can determine where they draft these people.
Where did they finish last season? Do you know what position they finished in? Anyone?
I think they finish about middle of the pack.
I think they're a top 10 team.
I think they're close to it for sure, but for fantasy purposes, what are we talking about here?
Not great.
In terms of
I'd
fantasy
say there's
assets?
like 3 of them that would be you'd want.
So Watkins,
Coutinho, and Cash probably. Maybe Digne.
Yeah.
And then obviously the keeper's just like
maybe
keeper.
a second keeper.
Or I think
Martinez.
They run out pretty quickly. He's going to be someone's keeper, but he's not up there.
Yeah.
They just didn't have a great defense.
It's going to be hard for them to back up what he did 2 years ago.
They have signed a few players in defence, though. Like, as you were saying, what were the players' names?
Like the defensive players. Like they got
Carlos?
Kamara's a midfielder.
Yeah.
Olsen's a keeper.
But Carlos, they brought him in.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
I think he plays.
Yeah, he does. He's a defender. Yeah. He's a defender. So if they figured out that one of the centre backs there, they've got 2. I mean, they've got 1 decent left back. I don't know. Maybe their defence could be okay.
It could be against certain teams.
It's just hard because they were just like not great last year.
Look, I think it's a wait and see. I wouldn't go too hard on any other than what we mentioned. Like Luca Dean, Matty Cash are definitely, interesting outlets there. And
I think it's the classic when you approach this. It's so hard to predict what they're going to do for the season. You get obviously all the big guns go, the obvious names and teams that just wrap up.
Yeah.
And then you're just wanting the wing backs initially.
Well, that's what I mentioned actually to Hito just before we started potting was I believe that this year is possibly the hardest drafting year that we'll actually experience or that we have experienced.
why is that?
I just think that there's so many potential options that it's hard to narrow it down. So say if we look at first round, sorry guys, we're going to a bit of strategy, but this is what this pod's about.
Yeah.
So we look at the first round. I think once you get to about basically the 5th pick, it's easy. But then from 5 through to, maybe 8 picks, those picks are impossible. Because who do you pick?
Yeah, I know. I agree. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't had enough look at the draft yet to look where we'll be in about the 5th pick, but there does seem, there does seem to be a bit of depth in that kind of range where it gets difficult, hey?
Because you got questions, you got questions on Ronaldo. Is Sterling going to perform? How's Fernandes going to go? Is Vardy going to play a whole season?
Can Bowen do it again?
Darwin, how's he going to go? So, I feel like all of those people are in a similar category. Maybe I'd put Sterling a little bit above because I think that he's going to get the minutes that he deserves.
Yeah.
But all of those kind of players is like, what do you do? But then after that, it kind of evens out a bit. And then the next 2 rounds, I think, are going to be really hard. And then from round 5, it kind of evens out. And then you just basically fill your team.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think it's always the hardest time. But it's always, I don't know. I don't know if it's any harder this year than it normally is.
I think it is because, I feel like round 2 is basically, round 2 and 3 make your season.
I think it's because it feels like there's more choice.
Quote of the day.
In those positions now.
Yeah.
We can now go 3 rounds of really solid picks.
Yeah.
And it's like, just getting Maddison in the second end up being better than, you can get him later and doesn't have a great, because he had a great season last year, as an example.
Yeah, no,
did.
he definitely did.
And then a pick like do you pick Darwin Nunez? Liverpool, no idea where he's not gonna go first round probably, but
Yeah. Saka, Mount,
yeah,
Mahrez, Jesus, Havertz, is he going to get some time? So I think that what I'm trying to say is there's so many.
There's a lot of
potentials,
question marks.
and it's like it's going to be luck. at the end of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but I feel like that's every year, dude.
Well, I don't know because I feel like I've won 2 years in a row,
God,
and
we'll
it's
come back to
obviously skill based. But now it's going to get down to luck this season. I think if I don't win, it's because I got unlucky.
Okay, all right. I love it. He's covering his ass there. All right, I think we've really said all we need to say about Aston Villa, though.
yeah, let's do it.
I think let's talk about Bournemouth.
Okay, so Bournemouth,
What part of England are they in, Hito?
they're the south.
That's it.
actually.
Oh,
South.
Bournemouth?
It's a small little island.
Oh, okay.
Northeast coast.
Known for making
really
ornaments.
small.
Hey, it's a
It's
beautiful.
only about
place.
200 people.
It's lovely down there, and please forgive my potential friends sitting next to me.
Okay, let's talk
Potential
about Bournemouth. Look, boys, do you have much on them?
The main thing I want to call out is Dom Solanke.
Solanke, yeah,
Yeah.
29 goals, 7 assists in the championship last year.
crazy, yeah.
Say again.
29 goals, 7 assists.
Say again.
29 goals.
Almost as many as Mitrovic.
Jeez.
I think he got 40.
43.
Don't get. Did he actually?
Yeah.
That doesn't make fucking sense to me.
They play a lot of games, by the way. They
I
play
know.
more games.
His
than
I know, but like still.
his goal currency exchange is real bad to Premier League. From
Yeah.
Championship to Premier League.
Oh yeah.
Mitrovic.
Yeah.
So
no,
look-
it's not
look,
good.
He scores like 40 goals, then he's
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
2 or
like
3.
2. I know.
Bournemouth are back, and look, we've got Solanke as an option. Do you guys remember Brooks? Brooks
Yep.
is back in the Premier League.
Yeah.
We've got Lowe. He was not too bad. But besides from that,
You're really selling him.
no, like that's I don't think that they're pickups besides from Solanke and Brooks.
Is Solanke on pens?
I believe he is. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, I definitely like Solanke out of all of them, and he's been in the Prem before, even if it was not that many minutes. But, with that kind of goal-scoring pedigree, he's going to be an interest to everyone.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, I mean, that was good chat about Bournemouth.
Let's talk about Brentford.
Brentford.
They're back. Well, they're still in.
Well, they're still here. They never left.
And what about their biggest signing of the summer?
yeah.
Ben fucking
Oh,
Ben
doesn't that
Mee.
put a smile on your dial? I was a little sad when I saw Ben Mee was,
Leaving.
relegated.
Well, the team's been broken up. Tarkowski's gone to
I
Everton.
know, they-
Ben
oh.
Mead, but
the drop's not going to be nice on them.
Burnley are fucked.
Well, they've lost their whole defense.
We'll never see him again.
They Pope's at Newcastle too.
Yeah.
And Cornet, I think, is on the move. That's a bit of a rumor. I heard it here first.
They're getting ravaged.
yeah.
And they've lost to Weghorst already.
Oh, Vixie!
He's gone to some Turkish
Yeah.
team.
oh,
I think.
wow.
Well,
Yeah. They're getting ripped. But I think Brentford are looking interesting.
Yeah.
I think Ben Mee definitely helped shore up the defence a bit.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of Premier League
He
experience.
had a carbon neutral transfer. Did you hear that?
What
No.
does that
He
mean?
carbon offsetted his own transfer. He reckons transfers now take up too much,
Emissions. Wow.
Well, the flights and cars and all this stuff.
Here we go.
He personally offset his own trip.
Wow. Good on him. What more reason to love? I love
He's
him.
a great guy.
In his Tesla, just cruising up the
Well,
M1.
apparently he couldn't drive his Tesla because he didn't know where the charging stations were near Brentford, so he drove his petrol car.
Oh, wow.
And then he carbon offset it because he didn't know he wouldn't take his Tesla.
Oh my god, man.
Where are we going?
Well, lucky he's a footballer. Okay, all right. Who's interesting for Brentford then?
Okay.
What and transfers in? Let's talk about that to begin with.
Yeah.
Transfers in.
Lewis Potter, come from Hull, 12 goals, 3 assists last season.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Obviously a bit of a step up coming to Prem because I think Hull and Championship or Championship. So not
Orange
like
and
a,
Blacks.
not a huge amount of numbers, but that's not too bad. Interesting one for me is they brought in a left back, Aaron Hickey. He got 5 goals and 1 assist last year.
That's decent.
Yeah,
pretty
not
good.
bad at all.
Who was that?
Comes
Bologna.
from Bologna.
Yeah.
So from the Italian league, Serie A. That's not too bad.
Interesting. And that actually would go well in Brentford's system
Yeah.
because they really like to attack from all places. So we've got Tony. He's back.
Yeah, and Mbeumo with a position change as well.
Yeah, he's a forward now.
Mbeumo. Yeah, he's a forward now, which I don't know. Look, if he manages not to hit the fucking woodwork,
I know, man. He would have been like top goal scorer.
it would have been crazy.
You know who I'm calling out this year is Hito's old boy, Vissa.
Vissa.
Oh, yeah.
I think
One picked up
Vissa
in
is
last
going to
year.
have a big year.
Remind me about
A
Vissa.
little bit of a differential. He's a gangster.
He just-
Like he's straight up Compton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's so good.
What does that mean in terms of fantasy?
It means that he was one of the most consistent midfielders of the end of last season. I
Yeah,
think
right.
in the last 10 game weeks, he scored 5 of them.
He
or
ended up with
6?
7 goals,
Yeah,
and
okay.
they scored a couple of them in the back end, like the last 5-10 games. So he had some really good form end of last season.
He killed it.
He still played 30 games, so he took a while, but
Yeah,
I think Brentford are a team that could potentially like have a good second. You know how we got excited about Leeds last year, then they dropped off this year.
Little
I feel like
Swansea.
Brentford just kind of scrapped through a little bit, got
Yeah.
their feet, just stayed alive, and now they can potentially build on it.
Yeah, look, definitely. And that's, you're obviously going to be looking at those players at the bottom of your draft. So you're not going to be taking massive risks on them, but it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt to be informed about like those positions, if you know what I mean. Because as Miles was saying, after a certain time, it does actually get quite difficult to draft and to actually get an edge over your competition. It's all about knowing those players right down to the depths
yeah.
that are going to fill out your team.
Yeah, especially when you've got players like, Tony and Mbeumo are definitely going to fill striker positions, whether it's second or third choice.
Yeah. Well, they're going to
gonna-
get minutes. They're
gonna
nailed
fill
on,
minutes. So
basically.
it's just about judging them against.
Oh, and Mbeumo's forward this year?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Can we talk about how I feel like to me, there's more forwards this year. Like,
Yeah.
you know, how, like in recent years, like we probably make it through our first kind of like first run through the draft. And by, the second round, every forward worth talking about is gone.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, we all go after the forwards because there's so few actually quality ones to go. So everyone wants one good one in their team kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just to fill the spot, yeah.
Exactly. But like there's just a few. It just seems to me that it just seems like teams that don't always have a good striker have him and they're going to play minutes. And then even like positions like Mbeumo, he's a forward. Tony's a forward as well. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's more depth in forwards this year.
City didn't really have a forward last. Oh, Jesus.
Exactly.
But obviously now Haaland's, there's another forward from that team. Liverpool have a couple because Jota's a forward now. After being a midfielder, so you got Jota, Darwin, and Firmino to choose from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some options there.
I agree.
Yeah.
The one thing, sorry, before we finish on Brentford is I do agree that they probably could back it up quite well again, fantasy-wise, but Eriksen's left, and I think that he did get them going
He did,
creatively.
yeah.
So
That
I
was a
think
bit of a
that will
loss.
be something to keep an eye on because if
Yeah.
they're not actually getting that final ball, to that penetrating one.
But where does the creativity come from now?
That's what I'm a bit worried about. I think, Norgard can sometimes have it in him and maybe Jensen.
I think it's like normally it's Mbeumo and Tony forming a bit of partnership.
But the pass before, the pass
Yeah.
to get them going was usually Eriksen, and that's why I'm a little bit concerned about them.
Yeah, because he just went crazy at the end of last year, and that was because the link up between him and Eriksen
Yeah,
just went
Ero, yeah.
Or even just it wasn't necessarily linking up between him, but it's just that transition from defense to attack and
Yeah.
having that player that can play the ball.
Yeah.
So it's got I do agree. That was a good point, Miles. Something I'd wanted to bring up myself because it is going to have a big effect on that team.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch, but I think they've brought in a couple of names which are nice.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Brighton. Not much to say for me about them. They spent some money on this guy, Julio Enciso.
Yeah.
That was my best shot at that one.
That sounds pretty good.
Interesting
Interesting stats.
He's a forward. 11 goals, 3 assists, but in 14 games, Hito,
Yeah.
with an exclamation.
Yeah.
You seem a little excited
That's
about
pretty
that.
good.
That's insane, actually.
He has come from Paraguay League.
Okay.
But, fuck.
He's scoring goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
The
does he walk?
ratios.
Does he walk straight in? Because like Brighton have typically had a fair bit of rotation.
Well,
up the
they've
front.
gotten rid of Connolly, our boy, the Bulldog Connolly, on loan. So it's just more pay. They still have Welbeck,
Okay.
but we know there's a lot of Potter doesn't love Maupay from his attitude, and Welbs does like an injury. I think he's a one to watch. He's not one that we're getting super excited
But
about.
he could be someone to jump on during the season, if you know what I mean.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
you're just sitting there going, okay, he's hot right now. Jump on him.
Yeah,
Didn't Brighton sign a new forward? I heard.
yeah. This is who we got talking about.
Oh, sorry. I was
Yeah.
just getting beers from the fridge.
Oh, my God, Miles.
Yeah,
Is that Undo?
Julio.
Oh, Julio. Yeah.
Yeah, Julio.
Ciso.
But they've also, they've signed, actually, I don't know. I don't really know these people. There's a couple of other names there. There's not made any big moves, and mainly the talk is about players that are leaving.
Yeah, no one's really come in with like many good stats behind them. Like I've looked up some of their boys, and there's no crazy.
So
numbers.
Welbeck?
Well,
He's
look,
still there.
and you sound stoked. But if potentially what he wants to do is play with two up the front or anything like that, like Trossard might drop deep and
Yeah,
drop a
Trossard
bit deeper.
was playing out
Sorry.
of position up front.
yeah, exactly. So he
Last
might go
year.
back a bit, and then maybe he'll play Welbeck and Maupay in
Yeah.
a rotation of Enciso, or I hope that's how you say his name. But anyway, look, I'm not excited about Brighton. I think that Potter's a good manager, and maybe he'll make a few more good signings. But like Cucurella sounds like he's basically walking out the door. Although I did hear a quote the other day, I think it was Brighton, about Cucurella. Anyway, I think United bid like 30 million, and then they just like laughed at it. It's like, yeah, that's never happening.
Yeah.
It's like,
City will give him 60.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh no, wait, yeah, it's City going for them. Sorry, I fucked that up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
City bid 30.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's City bid 30.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I've got
Well,
the
because
results
Man
wrong.
U have spent all summer just copying other people's bids, so
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Like, what's Pep doing?
Yeah.
What's Pep doing?
I'm not too excited about Brighton. They're just kind of like Trossard's basically your only maybe drafter.
If
And
I
they're just
get
squad fillers like
Yeah.
later in the draft as a hit and hope, and then you might pick them up as a free agent.
They're
later.
so rarely a points-rich team. Like, they just there's sometimes some of their players go hot. Like every now and then, Maupay will go, hot, or Welbeck or whatever, and you just have to be prepared to make the move during the season. But
Yeah.
like in terms of actually drafting their players, I'm not very excited by any of them.
Yeah. It'd only be Trossard for me, and that's
Maybe Welbs, like he had a good run end of the season, but
he's still not going to make my
But he's
team.
not. No,
though.
but he's not your early.
Yeah.
He's might be your third striker, or if you've gone
possibly.
heavy other positions and you just need
Yeah.
a striker, you might pick him up just later as a second,
You might, or you might not.
or you might not.
All right, I think we can move on to Chelsea. They're going to have a few. I reckon a few players that might have a bit more points potential than
Definitely.
Brighton.
Definitely.
Let's get into them. Miles, we've had a fair bit of a chat about Sterling.
Yeah.
I don't like him, but probably because he's played at two massive rival clubs, and I just hate people that play at those clubs.
Yeah. Look,
One of three players that has played for City, Chelsea, and Liverpool.
Can you name
me-
it?
can you name the two?
That's for us to do.
Oof. Lampard? No. Didn't play. at
Wait,
Liverpool.
can you say it again?
Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City.
Oh my
Liverpool,
god, that's
Chelsea.
so hard.
Oh, because
man.
the City one.
yeah, the City one's
Yeah.
killing me, dude. I don't think that we're old enough.
no,
to
what-
do this.
You know them.
Oh, really? Milner? No,
No.
damn
No.
it. Milner's never played for Chelsea. What am I on?
It's not Torres.
Who was a striker when Drogba was around? Same kind of era.
Oh,
Anelka.
with
Anelka. I knew Anelka was a mad
Yeah.
team slut. He
Yeah.
was everywhere.
he was at
Yeah.
Arsenal.
He was
as
at
well,
Arsenal
wasn't he?
too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He played at Liverpool?
Who else?
What
is
about
there?
Crouchy?
We had him on loan.
Who's the third person?
No,
Just
not
tell us.
Crouchy.
So the third person is a bit of a one-season wonder.
Oh, never going to get it. Oh,
Alex.
is that short guy? Like he's got no neck?
Likes-
What's his name?
Likes Perth.
Daniel Sturridge.
Yeah.
Golden
Oh,
boy. The original
Daniel.
golden boy.
Yeah.
And that's funny because I find that Sturridge and Sterling are like golden boys, England golden boys. But yeah, look, I think Sterling's going to be massive for Chelsea. It could be that I'm a little bit one-sided, but I think that with the minutes that he got under Pep, he is a potent goal scorer,
Oh, yeah.
especially in FPL. And even you look at the last game of the season, like he didn't start and he brings him on and he changes the game.
Yeah.
He was that pass to...
And he's the good thing about him coming in, he's not competing with someone who's better than him.
He's going to own
He's better
that
than
spot.
Pulisic,
Yeah.
Ziyech, Werner. Like, he's better than all your other wingers.
He's getting minutes, no doubt.
He can play up front as
yeah.
well if we want to play a false
Yeah.
nine. And yeah, I think that he's going to be really, really good. He's going to get the minutes. I think Mount, Havertz, and then, you know, obviously we're going to get straight into the wing backs for me with Chelsea and Mendy.
So you reckon Mount, Havertz, Sterling will be the top little trio?
I believe so at the moment.
It's difficult to figure out what formation it's going to be because, and there's been a fair bit of chat about this, and Miles and I talked about it. Obviously, when we first signed Sterling, we're like, okay, so where do the other players fit? Like, obviously, Mount, you know, is a concern.
Yeah.
And, you know, why aren't we signing a striker kind of thing? But we'd also had no defenders at that time. Now we've signed Koulibaly. Lot of chat about Jules Koundé. But Koundé, I don't know. It doesn't. They're still figuring it out.
Second window.
Who are they selling? Who are they selling to? Like Barcelona seems like they're really keen to fuck with it. But look, if the question I guess lies with, are we going to play 4 at the back, or are we going to play the same system we have been playing with the ultra attacking kind of wing backs? If we sign another defender, which it seems like we're trying to do, it does seem like Tuchel wants to play that strategy again. But what happens to Reece James and Chilwell if we don't? If we play as a back 4, if we can't get the players,
If
we
they're
need?
like not as desirable for fantasy, you're saying?
Yeah, because they're not.
Yeah.
They're not going to get as, you know. They're basically attackers. Like,
Yeah.
you know, with
It definitely
defensive
reduces
role.
it. I don't think it puts me off too much, to be honest, because I think it's not going to completely go to a back 4 that plays like, you know, 10 years ago.
Yeah, and even if they are a back 4, they're still going to get up there.
Or just might be one of them. They'll shift it. He'll have an extra midfielder they can cover.
It'd be like what Liverpool does
Yeah.
with Trent and Robbo.
Yeah.
You know, like when one of them is pushing forward, the other, the central
Yeah.
midfielder comes back and takes that spot.
Yeah, I feel like it's not as good, but it's, for me as an outsider, it doesn't scare me as much because I feel like
They're that
it'd
good.
still be an asset.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Now, okay. So in terms of the assets, let's just list them off. Obviously, Chile and Reece James, big ones. Chile, maybe some question marks in terms of how he'll bounce back from injury.
Yeah.
Are you guys willing to take the risk for the reward with him in terms of drafting him? Probably. I mean, based on how he was playing, or are you wary of that?
If you want me to answer it, I've already got an answer.
Go, mate.
Yeah, so I was thinking if I am lucky enough to draft Chile, because I think that he is a pick and I would want him in my team, probably I'd edge Reece James slightly ahead of him because of minutes. But if I get Chile, my 5th defender will always be Alonso, because I want to cover that position for those minutes that you're talking about.
And you brought this up last season, this kind of covering position thing. And this, let's just say that there's no rumours that Alonso's going to Barcelona.
Yeah.
Let's just say he's going to be there.
Yeah.
So just explain the strategy of the kind of the double up of the position, especially in defenders.
So you can't do it in budget because you just can't afford to do a spot with them. But we play draft. So if you have someone like Chilwell and Alonso's the alternative, I believe that you got to get both of those people, those players, because you just play them both, and then whoever doesn't play just comes on for your first sub.
Yeah, and I mean it's unique as well because it only works in certain situations. Like,
And
I
you
mean,
can only-
Chelsea's wing backs are a perfect one because like
We've got
Chile is
another
a
one
goal
this
scorer.
year, though. So we've spoken about it, and I think it's the Zinchenko Tierney.
Yeah,
I think that's another one this year.
that's not bad. I do like that a lot.
And I think also the Cancelo Cucurella, if he goes, I think that you could probably get them both.
Really,
feel
Cancelo Cucurella.
I wonder if you could do Cancelo, no, sorry, not Cancelo, Cucurella and Walker. In case, because if
That's interesting.
Cancelo will play left back, cancelling out Cucurella, but that means then Walker would come on at right back.
Yeah. I just think
I don't
that-
think Walker's going to play much this
But they're
year.
not as
Really?
strong.
I think he might.
He was like, I'll get up his minutes, but I don't think he played much last year.
It just depends where they're playing Cancelo.
Yeah. I think that he'll play on the left.
Well,
and
Cancelo's the favourite,
Walker
right?
on the right.
yeah.
Isn't Cancelo the favourite?
And then he'll
Yeah.
bleed Cucurella into the team this year. I don't
he'll
think-
bleed him all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Ake, you know?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't get
That's
the
fair.
minutes
It
that he
doesn't have.
deserves.
There's not too many positions. Like you can't do it with Liverpool. Simicast
What-
doesn't get
yeah,
enough minutes.
Okay, so but obviously, like defenders is one position where that can be good. But we had Bobby last year in our league trying to trial it out with the Liverpool wingers.
Yeah.
So Liverpool wingers still kind of have that kind of.
That's an interesting one as well, yeah.
They are enticing, and I mean
So he did
We're going to
with-
talk about Liverpool later, but I mean, I'd love to kind of get into this this draft tactic a little bit now while we're talking about it.
Like it was Mane and
Diaz.
Diaz,
But
yeah.
could you apply that to the current wing?
You could definitely
Winger
do that.
system?
You wouldn't be doing it necessarily with Diaz. I think he's nailed on as the left. but
Maybe
you'd be
Jota.
doing it between Jota, Darwin, and Firmino.
Yeah, fuck Firmino. Let's just not
Potential-
even... Like, that's just... He's not getting
But the
minutes.
playoff is potentially Jota's injured at the moment, hamstring,
And
and
Darwin.
also Darwin is brand new.
But yeah, true. He scored a
So-
couple goals the other day.
He
Jota's
did, yeah.
injured?
Yeah.
Wow, badly?
Not badly, but he might miss the first few games.
First few games.
But that could be an interesting early one, doubling up on Firmino because Darwin's new. It's a lot of pressure on his shoulders to play and
In that
deliver.
system.
He might come. Firmino might start the season
Wow.
in centre. So you could go the
Darwin
Darwin,
will-
Firmino.
No
yeah.
one's fucking drafting Firmino. He's
Well,
never been good.
no,
for
but he
fans.
might be
Maybe
like-
for the first couple of games. I get
But you never
I get
know.
You, I get you.
You wouldn't be. You definitely would be going the other one first because you're playing the long game.
He scored a hattie
But
last year.
Firmino would be your backup later one later if there's no one else to pick. You might go, I might
yeah,
get him just in case.
couple of games, yeah.
Just in case. But yeah, he's never a crazy point scorer.
Will Jota ever be pushed wide? Or will he always play centrally?
Mostly centrally, but he does have the ability to cover wide.
Because that's why I like the Jota thing.
He's more likely to cover wide than Nunez, I think.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Nunez is more.
So what if you were like going, oh my God, I just forgot the name of the other winger that joined last
Diaz.
year. Diaz. What if you go Diaz Jota?
That's great. Because you could potentially end up with the two starters.
Yeah, true.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But Darwin is the one. I think they're all good because there's going to be enough rotation. Like, when Jota came off the bench last year, he still scored goals.
I still think it's Darwin, Jota, not Diaz. I think Diaz owns that spot.
And I agree. Like for me, I think in saying that, like offering up those two players like Jota and Diaz, like they're going to get drafted super early anyway. And a lot of the benefit to that strategy, the double up strategy, is
You can hold
like,
up.
for example, Alonso. Like everyone's going, oh well, he's second fiddle, so you can.
And he's going. Or he might go.
Or he might
yeah.
go or whatever. But even if he's
Yeah.
not going, people aren't going, oh, Alonso's got that spot nailed. So they're not going to,
Yeah,
there's not going to be enough competition for it. So, the double up only works if, the other player is valued less because that's where you get the value by drafting them later. Anyway, it's a really interesting strategy. And I think, you can do it once in your team. I wouldn't do it twice.
You can only... I can tell you from experience, you can only do it once. It doesn't work. Otherwise, you're too short at the back. And
I
you have
believe
to,
it.
And then you have to trade, which,
All right.
sometimes screws you, sometimes you're the winner.
So, anything else? We're just still talking about Chelsea here. Let's quickly cut back to it. So, Sterling, Havertz, Mount,
Yep.
decent outlets there. Havertz,
Koulibaly.
now a forward. What do you think about
I think that's
how that might affect his points?
I think I think he'll get less points because obviously with clean sheet and 1 point less for goals, I think that if you can get Havertz as one of your striker positions, I think it's really good because you've only got 3 of them and they're quite hard to fill with someone that you can trust in there for the season. And
with
at this
Someone
point,
that will play.
Well, there's no competition really other than potentially Sterling or Werner.
yeah, and Werner's looking to leave. I don't know if we're going to sign anyone that's going to be better than Havertz. So I think Havertz is going to...
The real question for Havertz will be if we do make a signing up front.
We're not going to do that. After selling Lukaku and that whole debacle, Chelsea won't do that.
But
They're
where's
gonna
the
strengthen from
support,
the
mate?
back.
But where's the support? Like, we don't even have a backup striker. We don't even have our striker.
Well, I think Raheem can fill that position, and I think we've got Werner that if we do hold on to him.
I don't like that as a strategy.
Pulisic has played as a false 9.
I guess.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
No.
What's happening with Gallagher?
Then there's a lot of question marks over players like Gallagher, Zier.
Apparently takes a nice pen.
Oh.
Oh, you had to do that
You
to us. So,
bastard.
yeah. All right.
so
I think
good.
that was just a bit of a
Would you
glitch.
say he's made 0 pens?
Yeah. Nearly as good as Reece James back passes.
Wow.
Okay, let's not get into Chelsea's preseason. Actually, that's part of what we should talk about is the preseason. Chelsea's preseason hasn't been great.
It has not been going well.
Tommy's been throwing the boys under the bus.
Yeah, he's been in the media. He's been not happy.
Well, I think he's just trying to put a bit of fire under him because they look. Honestly, you look at them; they're so fucking relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're chilling in America.
They're
just
having
like
the
at
fucking
beach.
best time.
Honestly, I don't feel good about you boys this year.
Dude, preseason's preseason.
Preseason's
I think you'll be
Schmee
fighting for fourth.
Fuck off, hater.
get
I
top
think
4.
we will be 4th. I think.
I don't think you nailed on for third.
No, I don't think so.
I think you guys selling Mane is going to catch up with you, like for sure.
I don't think so.
Well, pin drop.
I don't think so, man.
Okay, hang on. We're getting off track here.
Yeah.
We got to keep this going.
I started insulting. You're coming to blows here.
Look, I think that's all we got on Chelsea for now. It hasn't been a good preseason, and we'll see.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about Palace. Look, I can only see. Have they made any other signings other than Sheikh Doucouré?
Look, just some like they got Johnson came in as on a free and Ebby
Sam Johnson's a
Owie
keeper.
from Derby.
Okay, so I mean,
big
look,
names.
they've not really made big changes, and they've not lost anyone either. They look a lot other than really Conor Gallagher.
Yeah,
Do you think they're going to suffer from that?
I think so.
big time. Yeah, I think they're going to struggle a little bit this season, unfortunately.
They
Back
were
to,
missing
back
out.
to Fantasy Palace, where just pick Zaha.
Just
Only option.
Yeah, but okay. So look, I know it's not Conor Gallagher, but remember, Izzy was out for the beginning of last season.
Eze is back. So I was about to just say that as well.
So look, he could make up a little bit of that gap left by Gallagher if he can kind of get back into form there, because he is quite a electric player. And the other one that I was always hovering over for that last season and just like never quite pulled the trigger because he never quite got there was Elise.
Elise, yeah.
But I mean, I'd love to just again, I'm just going to be watching him closely because he's a pretty young prospect.
He could have a breakout season.
But he could, yeah, exactly. If he gets the minutes, maybe an option.
Yeah. And just a quick shout out before we move on from Palace. Our boy Bobby Bance.
Oh, Bobs.
He was in Italy and he ran into the owner, Steve Parish.
Oh my god, that's
And
awesome.
He had like at a cocktail bar and like,
Really?
literally had drinks with him, talked about, transfers and Palace, historical and, the buying and selling of the club, all that. And like,
Wow.
And, Bobby is a massive Palace fan.
Yeah.
He was on cloud 9. Like imagine us
Dream come true.
meeting Roman.
Oh.
Because that's what it is.
I'd be so intimidated by meeting Roman. I'm like, I'm going to be killed any moment here.
Where's the sniper?
Yeah.
Don't
Paris, you'd be like, oh,
Where's the
awesome.
poison?
Roman, you'd be like, is he about to be assassinated? Oh my god.
Don't spill your drink on him. You don't know what's going to happen.
All right, let's talk
Yeah.
about Everton, guys.
All right. Well, okay. Are they going to do any better?
I think they're going down.
You love saying that about
Calling
Everton. It's that fucking Liverpool derby thing.
Mate, look at them.
They're not
They've
making
lost
big moves, are they?
They've signed Tarkowski.
Yeah.
Which
They've sold
good. I mean,
Richarlison.
Takassi's a good player. I mean, yeah, yeah.
And they've not signed anyone else.
Yeah, look, on paper, their team doesn't look fantastic. You got Pickford in goals and then Patterson, Tarkowski, Mina, Mylelenko, probably?
Yeah.
Mylelenko?
Michaelenko, yeah.
And then in the middle, we
Not
got-
Mile. It's not Mile. You're reading your own name in his name. It's Mikolenko.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning. Yeah.
You were saying Milelenko.
Sorry, it's just my brain's a bit fried.
Yeah, okay, all right.
So, and then in the mid, you got Alan, Iwobi, and Decore, I guess. Or maybe Gordon.
I mean, we do like Decore.
Oh, Decore's, he's GOAT. But, and then up front, we got Calvin Lewin and Gray.
Yeah, and the Gordon was playing okay football towards the end of last season,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's like they're not an exciting team in any way.
I honestly don't even think that any of them are picks.
What about okay, so obviously Richarlison's gone. That leaves obviously a gaping hole. Someone's going to be filling minutes. I mean, Gordon is who we're kind of talking about now. If he's given the minutes, is he going to be, someone getting a few goals?
He got a couple of goals last year.
What did he get? What was the...
Oh, I have to bring up his numbers.
Bring up his numbers. Fucking bring him up. We're a fantasy football
There's
podcast.
massive question marks on Calvert-Lewin. Like, he couldn't even, kick it in the net.
He
if
got
it was
4
free
goals last year.
He got 4 goals. In how many minutes?
In 35 games.
In 35. Gordon.
Yeah.
He played 35 games.
He played a lot last year.
Yeah, he did.
And he scored 2 in a double game week or something. So
And Gray went cold. He had a hot run to begin with, and then he
Yeah.
went cold.
boys are going down.
And Frankie, I don't know, man. Why did he jump on that sinking ship?
It's
Shit.
blue. He is
you
the
know?
sinking ship.
Oh,
Okay,
come on, man.
Jesus Christ. Have some respect for our great.
That's so bad.
Okay.
Player, not manager.
God. Okay.
All right, look, I think that,
Don't fucking pick up Everton.
Damari
players.
Gray
Don't
and
pick up.
Calvert, maybe, but I'm
DCL was like a top pick beginning of last draft.
Yeah.
He's not this time.
If you're in a 10-man league, cut 2 people so you just don't have to pick an Everton player in your draft.
relegate them. Whoever
Gosh.
came last and second last,
Make them play
kick
their
'em out.
make them play their own league.
Can I just quickly say something? I've just caught something on the edge of Miles's zero alcohol beer. The slogan on it is "Morning for it."
Morning for it.
What the fuck?
I would not want that in the morning.
Is that their selling point? It's like, well, you can have a couple of these in the morning if you're just feeling like a bit.
I literally downed a Corona at 11 a.m. this morning on the golf course.
That's legal.
Do you know what?
That's close enough to 12
It's
p.m.
from the boys
12.
from Inspired Unemployed.
What is?
Better beer.
They make this.
Yeah, that's why it's called Morning for it, because they do day for it.
Oh, I don't get it.
It's all, tip of the cap.
Oh, okay. I don't really know who that is, but good on him.
If you're on the socials, you know them.
Good on him.
You know.
Okay, let's talk. Let's talk Fulham.
Let's talk Fulham.
They're back, baby.
They're so back.
I mean, we were talking about Mitrovic before. Does the same thing happen again? I feel like everyone is going to be bloody gun shy with him, but he's on pens.
Yeah. I think definitely as like a second or third striker, he's an option. Definitely third, but possibly
I think
for
he's a second striker. When you
some-
cut out
for some draft teams. It would depend on what you're building.
Yeah.
If you go with 2 strikers early or
I
depending.
think he will easily go as second striker round.
Yeah.
round. I don't think he's waiting until someone's third.
No.
I think so, just because he plays every game and he might get 5 to 10 goals.
Is he on pens as well?
Yeah, he got 6 last year.
Yeah, okay.
Can I ask a question just a little bit? We're kind of talking about formation or like when, playing a 2-striker system or whatever. I've been wondering this because in the budget version, they talk a lot about formation. They're like, what formation you're going with this year? You're going to go like 4-4-2, whatever. It's obviously, lately been a lot more popular to be more defense and mid-heavy than forwards. Have you guys ever looked at draft and the positions or the way you draft as I'm drafting for this formation? Or, have you ever taken that into account? And does that have any actual benefit in the draft version?
I think, sorry, I don't want to take away.
Go.
I don't think in draft that's a strategy. I think that's a budget strategy that you should be building.
Because you
for
got to do
formation.
burner. You got to do burner positions.
I think draft, when you're drafting, it's about picking the best player that's still available in the draft at that time.
Yeah.
And then you build your formation after the draft.
I'd agree. I agree for sure. I wanted to ask that question
It's
from the
interesting.
lens of like people who may have just crossed over from budget, because it's one of those things that like I didn't know that much about it because I don't play budget, but obviously with the resources that we're listening to and to help us make this
They're very
podcast,
budget oriented focused.
Yeah, they're all very budget focused. So you end up having to kind of like assimilate some of the information into draft. And that was one of the things that I heard a lot. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that they actually played to like a formation in that one. So yeah, anyway.
I think quite often you end up playing 2 strikers max. It's
In
very
draft.
rare that you'll have 3 playable strikers,
It
but
is
it all
very
depends
rare.
on the fixtures. There's more players available. You're likely to have maybe someone who does start.
Yeah.
So you've some one game week because of form, you might end up with injuries and playing 3 up front. But I think most of the time you don't have 3 unless you specifically go that strategy for some reason.
Yeah, I think, exactly. Like you really have to go so hard.
Historically, the mids are the highest scoring players. So you kind of lean towards that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Before we move off Fulham, I want to also bring up Harry Wilson.
I really wanted to talk about him. Yeah.
In the championship last year, 19 assists, 10 goals.
Yeah, he had a crazy
Ex-Liverpool
year.
youngster.
Yeah, he is.
So
I think him and Pereira could go quite well.
Yeah. I think Pereira's a bit more unproven in that he doesn't have many stats behind him.
No, but
From
he
his-
hasn't really got the minutes either.
No. So I would be picking Wilson over him, though.
Me too.
But it could be an interesting one to keep an eye on, Pereira.
And I'll say this from, for Fulham as one of the, obvious teams coming up, they won the league. They won the championship. For goals scored, this is a ranking system versus other championship clubs. For goals scored, they were first. For shots per game, they were first. To shots on target per game, they were first. Big chances created, XG as well, and possession, they were second. So they were a pretty fucking dominant team. It seems like attacking wise for the majority, right? So you've got to think, okay, they're pretty cohesive as an attacking threat. I don't know what their stats were the year that they came up last. I don't know if they won the league or whatever. I seem to remember Mitro had pretty good stats coming in last year.
They got in through playoff.
But it seems like a little more firm. And, they're straight back. They're here again. They obviously went down.
Actually, did they win?
I'm going to look now.
I thought they won the championship. Fulham were crowned 21-22 championship winners.
Apologies, yeah. So it was
With the best record in the division, I'm reading here.
Bournemouth and Nottingham who got through.
They were the first team to score more than 100 goals in second tier since City did it in 2002.
Wow, stat chart. Let's go, baby.
Man, I'm on fire here. You want more? Anyway, look, I think that outside of Hito's little Harry Wilson, it's Mitrovic and anyone else in that team.
I do believe that Pereira could have a good season. Yeah.
Oh, Pereira shout out. Okay.
I think so. I think he's going to be a little bit more creative outlet for them that they might need in the Premier League against the big boys.
Fair enough. All right. Let's go. And what about, one last question. Fabio Carvalho, what do you know about him?
We've
He's
seen a
moved
bit
to
of him.
Liverpool.
What, sorry?
He moved to Liverpool.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he left.
Yeah.
He went to Liverpool.
After this season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
He had a good season last season.
Yeah, he did.
Fulham.
Yeah. That's
well.
what I was thinking. I was like 10 goals, 8 assists.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he'll be on the bench this year.
Not bad.
He might play every now and again.
Yeah, okay. Oh, there's some
The
other
new
players in
Minamino.
there that have some decent stats. But look, the only other one I wanted to shout out maybe was Niskins Cabano.
Oh, yeah.
He's had 9 goals, 6 assists last season. He plays as a left winger.
He's the winger, yeah.
31 appearances, pretty nailed on.
And he plays the same side as Robinson, and they kind of linked up quite well last season as well.
Very interesting. Anyway, look, I guess, again, it'll be one to watch, and the only ones that are going to really be drafted are who we've already talked about. Okay.
Let's wrap up
Is
Leeds.
this the last one?
Leeds, yeah.
It's a big jump in the alphabet, isn't there? We go from F to L.
Well, Hull's not in there anymore.
Damn.
And I don't know about an I team. Isle of Wight, are they in it?
Oh, God. Isle of Wight.
Bournemouth.
So Leeds, how are they going to go this year? Are you picking up Bamford in the first this year again?
Oh, he loves that.
Sorry, man. Last year, Hito picked up Bamford in the first. I mean, look, it was an option, and it was a gamble that you took.
I was like
and-
6th pick.
You're living in the
and
past.
look, if you picked up Mane, you would have won the league.
Let's talk about Bamford's
Who knows?
prospects
But I might
this
not have
season.
charged back. Who knows?
Let's talk about Bamford's prospects this season. Let's go.
He still doesn't like that I roped him to Chelsea earlier, does he?
Yeah, well, I still don't like you brought a fucking 0 beer.
Okay, so Bamford is there again. He's fit. I don't know about pre-season, but I know that he's not injured.
Yeah, I just don't know if he carries the same weight. He definitely doesn't.
I think he could be a little bit of a sleeper pick because people are going to be knowing that he was.
It's that luck thing you were talking about, man.
Yeah,
like that's just really, where do you put your faith in those risky picks? And maybe that can kind of take us to a draft strategy a little bit. Like when we've talked about it before. You want to fill your team with like some pretty solid players and some risk. But we've seen even in our league many times, I've made this mistake before. You're drafting, you're not really paying attention, you're looking at names and everything like that. And all of a sudden you look at your team and you're like, fuck, a few risky players in here. Like players that might not necessarily perform and you do have to watch out.
Definitely.
That you don't add up too many. Because, yeah, sure, take a risk. But, like, take 5 risks? Well, you're probably going to lose out on a couple there.
Yeah. I
There's
think
also... Sorry, you go.
No, you go.
I was just going to say there's the other end too. Like last year, I went quite safe in what I thought was a safe strategy. But I picked too many players that had not proven it over multiple years as well. Like I kind of went to like so many safe options who were just like not big names, but just had a good haul last year, and it backfired on so many counts.
But it was good for tanking.
It
worked out well. You got
Maybe I need to
Ronaldo.
do that again.
Oh my
But
god!
like I went like Harrison, who had a great year the year before.
Yeah.
I went Souček, who like just got a solid like 140 points. Like I've just got a lot of like base names.
Yeah.
But they just had outstanding seasons the year before.
Yeah, you did kind of go on.
You can't go
Past
too
seasons
conservative
form.
either.
Yeah, and look, just getting back to Leeds, I think, and just talking about Bamford, is a third forward would be perfect, but maybe a late second pick striker.
Yeah.
Like a mid-round.
When you're kind of running out of like decent...
Yeah, if your draft has kind of gone where you've gone defender and mid-heavy and you don't have any strikers, maybe that one name, get Bamford in. And then if you've gone forward heavy, maybe get him in as your third.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about what they've lost this year. Because they have lost some big players. They lost Rafinha to Barcelona. They've also lost Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, it's going to be a big loss for them.
I think it is. Have they filled those holes? Is there anyone you guys are seeing that, is capable of...
Well, they've brought in about 5 players, but I don't know much about them. Maybe if I list them out, you might know a bit.
The hard thing is that they all have a lot of good chat behind them because of what Leeds are trying to do as a team. But in terms of fantasy, no one's coming in with like 10, 15 goals to their name.
No.
It's like, it's going to maybe help Leeds as a team, and we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. And probably Leeds fans will probably be starting to see that. And there's a lot of promising names in there because they fit Marsh's ideas. But in terms of numbers, like there's Sinistera, he's a winger, got 12 goals, 7 assists last year.
He does interest me. Like he could come in and play a lot of minutes.
Came from Feyenoord, so the Dutch league not as like strong typically. He's signed a bunch of players from Salzburg. That's not like, the strongest league in Austria, but
more center.
Minamino, Haaland have come from that league before.
And he coached there. Oh, we saw how Minamino went. He's coached there though. That's where he came from, right? Yeah. So he knows these players most likely, and he's signing them to fill in what strategy he wants to play.
Yeah.
And maybe that's going to make them a more cohesive team, as you're saying. But yeah, in terms of standout assets, I mean, like they've signed Tyler Adams as well. Who's meant to be a replacement at centre defensive mid. They dropped about 20 mil on him.
I think your main two boys with Leeds has got to be Harrison and Bamford.
There's talk of Harrison moving.
Really?
Shit, I can't remember where it was, but I remember hearing that Harrison might go.
Wow. I didn't hear that.
To another Premier League team as well. So something to watch out for. Let me just see if I can find that rumour while you guys talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he stays, it's going to be good for Bamford because I think that Bamford needs someone with a little bit of Premier League experience.
Yeah, exactly. And I like what you said before about Bamford a late second. If you're at the point where you're kind of tossing up between like Lucas Moura or Bamford,
yeah,
you kind of like...
That's an easy pick, yeah.
Okay. Like if you're that level of midfielder where you're like,
yeah,
might get a couple of goals.
Yep.
but he's not going to start every game.
Yeah.
That's kind of feel like we're at the point where you take a punt on someone like Bamford.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
I really
hard
do.
because it's not that he had a bad, it's the injuries that worry me.
Yeah.
Newcastle are making a move for Harrison,
Okay.
which is that's
Makes
interesting.
sense to me.
Yeah.
They're recruiting quite well.
They are.
Newcastle.
They are.
I'm looking forward to talking about them next week. They're one of those ones that over the next couple of years, we're going to have to keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
Because they're just going to come out of nowhere. They're going to be those players that you might be able to jump on it.
And they're
early
making
without
all these
people knowing.
signings. You're like, okay. And then next minute, it's just going to be like, Neymar. And you're like, holy shit, where did that come from?
Yeah. Neymar and Newcastle. Oh, my God.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I think you're going to see it.
I really hope so.
And yes, Cornet, we were talking about him before.
Is he?
Nottingham Forest targeting him as well. Just
Okay,
some
we'll
fun
talk
gossip.
about that in a couple
Sorry,
of
I
days.
just brought seeing the gossip here now. I'm like, oh, I love the gossip.
I'm looking forward to talking about Nottingham Forest. I don't know why, but I am. Maybe Sherwood Forest, Robin Hood and shit. Like, I'm getting all fucking old
He just
school
left
and shit.
Forest. That's the only link.
I love it.
I love Forest.
Sherwood
I love
Forest.
trees.
I love Bush.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No comment. Yeah. All right, boys. Well, I mean, that kind of finishes the 10 teams that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to say on Leeds or?
No, I think that's it, boys.
No, that's it.
A lot of this 10 teams are kind of light fantasy assets. I think we come into the big
100%.
dots.
Bottom of the alphabet
Yeah.
is where
Where it's at.
the sleepers are at.
Yeah, tune in on Wednesday.
Get into the L's and M's.
Yeah.
Starts getting heavy.
Oh,
L's and M's, LCMs.
LCMs.
All
Where's
right.
the C Chelsea?
peace out.
What?
Are they the LC? They're the C and the
Oh
L.
yeah, the
LCM.
CMs. Yeah. All right, boys.